There's been a lot of skepticism from Harvey Weinstein's defense team that you cannot find 12 people in New York City. Well, I asked you that question today. We've got your reaction on social media next. All right, folks, the big breaking news today coming out of New York City in the Harvey Weinstein rape trial is that it seems we're getting closer to seating a jury in New York. Unbelievable. Harvey Weinstein showing up to court today again, and his attorneys, meanwhile, filing an appeal of a motion that was denied by the judge, a motion to move the case out of New York City because the defense says, you know what, we can't get a fair and impartial jury in this city. No, we need to go somewhere else in the state of New York. Perhaps upstate New York to one of those rural counties, maybe Albany, I don't know, somewhere other than New York City and this courthouse. However, ladies and gentlemen, we got 7 jurors today, so we got a lot closer. Now, the question is, those 7 who've been seated, will they be fair and impartial? Are they fair and impartial? You know, you'll find out once they sit down and perhaps if they speak afterwards or whatever happens. But we are getting closer, and we do expect, according to Chanley Painter, opening statements Wednesday of next week. Closing arguments will be coming to you live from New York City next week, if in fact that is the case. So I posted on social media today, I said, can you find 12 fair and impartial jurors in New York City? New York City? First comment. Comment of the day from Diane. I believe so. It happens every day in courtrooms across America, and I want to believe that we can trust people when they promise to be fair and impartial when asked. That's what our justice system is about. Possible question. What is your opinion of how a person is deciding their options while trying to advance their careers? How persons decide their options when trying to advance their careers. Yeah, interesting. And that would be a question to the prospective jurors during voir dire, coming from Diane. So let's start first with the fair and impartial jury. Diane, like me, trusts the jurors. I trust you when you show up at the courthouse. And don't forget, in this case, we were having like 40 a day who were being honest and saying, I can't be fair and impartial, and they left. Should we trust the rest of them?
I applaud your faith. I really, really do. And honestly, I don't think it's that people lie. I think even sometimes people think that they might be and they aren't. And it's hard to tell, right? Especially when you're not doing an individual voir dire, right? If you're just doing a big group questionnaire-based sort of, examination going on, it's hard to really, dive into what their real thoughts and feelings are. And maybe they're not even really thinking it through.
All right, Marie, Napoli joining us in our Court TV studios. New Yorkers, just 12 of them. That's all. We need 12 in the box. We'll have some alternates too, but can those 12 be fair and impartial?
I really don't know. I've grown up down at these courthouses, and I've never seen anything like what was going on today with these mobs of people. You hear it echoing through the neighborhood, up the walls, into the windows. This is really an unprecedented trial in anything that I've seen down here. And I don't know if there was ever a case that he could not get a fair trial. I think this would be it. But I have never seen any of those motions ever granted. And that's why they went to the appellate division. Do I think that that's going to get granted? No. I think he's going to remain here. But whether or not he can have a trial, a fair trial, I really don't think so. People come into jury selection with their own experiences and their own preconceived notions of things. People have their own experiences, and they form their decisions based on that. And they may think that they're being fair. And with what has been out in the news, I really don't know if that's truly possible, even for the jurors that they've already sat.
Marie, another skeptical New Yorker with us tonight. All right. Does anyone else here trust jurors like I do?
Look,
to be honest?
Yeah, this is the problem with jury selection. There's, like we've already talked about, there's really no way to know what this jury truly
But don't we
believes.
find out more about jurors now than we ever have? Especially, you can take a look at their social media accounts, and you've
No.
got a team of people
Nobody
that are
has that
finding
kind of
out
time.
everything.
Assuming you have all those
Yeah,
resources.
I was going to say.
Correct.
Well, Harvey
given
Weinstein's
time.
got a lot of resources.
I mean, even if you find out all that stuff, people post whatever they want you to know, not necessarily who they are, but who they want to be. So that doesn't really help you, right, at the end of the day. And why should Weinstein's trial be any different than anybody else's? Okay, it might be national, but there's all kinds of cases that are national. And when you go on to the small level, like local level, people know who you are when you're being charged with a crime in a very small community. So why would that be any less unfair than his trial? His trial is going to be just as fair as anybody else's, if not more, because of the amount of money he has. And that judge has bent over backwards to make sure that he's getting a fair trial. You don't see that every day in courts in America.
And Ben, here's what I always say when criminal defense attorneys are crying because it's a high-profile case, and every case we do here on Court TV is high-profile, whether it's nationally high-profile or in the jurisdiction where it's being tried, it's like the biggest case and everyone's talking about it. I just throw a few names at them. Casey Anthony, O.J. Simpson, George Zimmerman. Wait a minute. Not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. Right? Sometimes you get convicted, sometimes you don't. I mean, at the end of the day, I think jurors really do listen to the judge.
Well, okay, so I'm sorry, I think you're in the minority again. First of all, I don't think he can get a fair trial up there because of the publicity. And I think he's a different type of celebrity. I put him on the likes of Michael Jackson, O.J. Simpson. You're going to have a lot of hard-hitting celebrities coming to possibly testify in this case. I don't know if they'll be in court or whatnot, but just given the interviews.
Charlize could be there. She's on the witness list.
See? So I think he's in a different position. Do I think that because he's a celebrity, he'll get a fair trial? Possibly, but you have to also consider most jurors don't want to sit on a trial. The ones that do, it raises some concern for me. And in this particular case, his potential jurors, regardless of the verdict, could potentially lead to book deals, movies, that type of stuff. So you have to be kind of aware of that also.
It won't be a Miramax movie, though. That's for sure. Teresa writing tonight, nope. People have already convicted him. I'm predicting whoever they seat will find him guilty. Well, yeah, that could be because they've already convicted him, or prosecutors have a really good case, and the accusers, all 6 of them who will be testifying in the case, are in fact credible. Nancy, most definitely. I have a friend who never ever listens to the news and never looks. There are more people like that than you can imagine. What I would ask, just normal questions, they ask, why would you want to treat them differently? Nancy, let me ask you about that. When I think about having this trial in New York City versus one of those more rural counties in New York State, I mean, isn't New York City the best chance to find people who can be fair and impartial because of the sheer number of people, the number of distractions, and all the things that are going on in New York? And you walk down the street there, people don't even look at you. Well, Marie, don't you think New York City's the best
I
chance?
didn't know you were talking to me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. People are very friendly. You have a misconception of New Yorkers. They're very friendly.
I don't know. I'm from Jersey.
They
Every time I go to New York, they
love
won't
each
look at me.
You're too handsome. That's why. No, I don't think so. I think really you're better off where not in a city from where he's from. People in New York, I think, overall have had preconceived notions. And as to something that was being said before, this is a long trial. It's going to be 4 or 5 months. And a lot of the people that were getting up and saying that they could not be, a lot of people got up and said that they could not be fair, that they had already made a predetermination. Some of those are saying that just to get off the jury because they don't want to be sitting for that long. But some of those, and a good portion of those, were being honest. And I believe that there's a good number of those people that just want to be on this jury, but have those preconceived notions. Everybody in New York knows about this case. He's a local, and everyone's been talking about it for a long time. I don't think he'll get a fair shake here, but I don't think the case is going to get moved.
All right. And you scared me there. 4 or 5 weeks, not 4 or 5 months of this trial, because
4 or 5 months.
no, it's not going to be 4. It's not going to be a 5-month trial. weeks.
4 or 5. I'm sorry, 4 or 5 weeks. I keep saying
All right,
that.
good, good. You're scaring me.
Sorry.
Because I'm going up to New York. You know how expensive it's going to be for me to stay in New York for 5 months? All right, when we come back, folks.
There are a lot of nice places that aren't crazy.
All right, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know if I trust her. No, I like New